While this battle was raging round the well-benched ship, Patroclus came up to Achilles, shepherd of the people, weeping hot tears like a dark spring trickling black streaks of water down a steep rock face. Swift-footed godlike Achilles felt pity when he saw him and spoke to him with winged words. Patroclus, why are you in tears like a little girl running along beside her mother and begging to be carried, tugging at her skirt to make her stop, although she is in a hurry and looking tearfully up at her until, at last, she picks her up? That, Patroclus, is how you look, with the soft tears rolling down your cheeks. Have you something to tell our Myrmidon troops or myself? Some news from our home in Phthia that has reached you privately? They say your father, Menœtius, is still alive. And my father, Peleus, certainly is, with his Myrmidons around him. If either of them were dead, we should indeed have cause for grief. Or perhaps you are weeping for the Greeks, who are being slaughtered by the hollow ships because of their stupidity. Tell me, don't keep it to yourself, we must share it. Sighing heavily, charioteer Patroclus replied, Achilles, son of Peleus, by far the greatest of the Greeks, don't be angry at what I say. It's the Greeks. They are in terrible distress. All our best men are lying by their ships, hit or stabbed. Mighty Diomedes, son of Tydeus, has been hit. The great spearman Odysseus has been stabbed. So has Agamemnon. Eurypylus has had an arrow in his thigh. Healers are attending them with all the remedies at their command to try to heal their wounds. But you, Achilles, you are impossible. God preserve me from the bitterness you harbour. You and your disastrous greatness. What will future generations have to thank you for? If you do nothing to prevent the Greeks' humiliating destruction, you are quite pitiless. Peleus was not your father, or Thetis your mother. No, the grey sea and sheer cliffs produced you and your unfeeling heart. But if you are privately deterred by some prophecy, some word from Zeus that your lady mother has told you, at least allow me to take the field with my Myrmidon contingent at my back. If perhaps that I might bring salvation to the Greeks, give me your own armour to fight in, so that the Trojans take me for you and break off the battle. That would give our weary troops some breathing space. There is little enough respite in war. The Trojans have fought to the point of exhaustion, and I, being fresh, might well drive them back to the town from our ships and huts. So Patroclus spoke in supplication. The great fool. In doing so, he was simply invoking his own destiny and a dreadful death. Greatly disturbed, swift-footed Achilles replied, Olympian-born Patroclus, what are you talking about? There is no prophecy I know of that I should be paying attention to, and my lady mother has passed on to me no word from Zeus. But it really hurts me when a man who is my equal wants to rob me and take away the prize I want, just because he has more power. After all I have been through in this war, that really hurts me. The army gave me that girl as my prize. I had sacked a walled town. I had won her with my own spear. And now Lord Agamemnon, son of Atreus, snatched her from my arms, as if I was some refugee who counted for nothing. But that's over and done with. Let it go. I was wrong in supposing a man could nurse his anger forever, though I had intended to do so till the tumult and the fighting reached my own ships. Arm yourself, then, in my famous battle gear, and lead my warlike Myrmidons into battle, now that a dark cloud of Trojans is indeed swirling threateningly around our ships, and the Greeks are clinging on to a narrow strip of ground, with the beach at their back. The whole town turned out against us. its courage restored. No wonder when they cannot see the helmet on my head glinting in their faces. They would soon take to their heels and fill the gullies with their dead, if Lord Agamemnon had kindly feelings towards me. As it is, the Greeks are having to defend the very camp itself. Diomedes' spear is no longer raging in his hands to save the Greeks from destruction, and I have not even heard loathsome Agamemnon barking out his orders. It is man-slaying Hector's shouts that ring in my ears as he hounds on his Trojans. Their cries fill the whole plain. They are trouncing the Greeks. Nevertheless, Patroclus, you must save the ships. Attack with all your force before the Trojans send them up in flames and cut us off from home. But listen while I tell you exactly how I want things to be. I want you to win me great honour and glory in the eyes of all the Greeks, so that they give my lovely woman back to me and provide splendid gifts as well. So return to me directly when you have driven the Trojans from the ships. Even if loud thundering Zeus offers you the chance of winning glory for yourself, don't entertain any dreams of fighting on without me against war-loving Trojans. You will diminish my honour. So don't lead the Myrmidons on to Ilium in the flush of victory, killing Trojans as you go, or one of the eternal gods from Olympus may cross your path. The archer god Apollo loves these Trojans dearly, but turn back when you have lit the way to victory at the ships and leave the rest to do the fighting on the plain. Ah, Father Zeus, Athene and Apollo, if only no Trojan could get away alive, not one, and no Greek either. And we too could survive the massacre and tear off Troy's holy diadem of towers single-handed. While Achilles and Patroclus were talking together in this way, the moment came when Ajax could no longer hold his position. He was conquered by the will of Zeus and overwhelmed with spears from the hands of proud Trojans. His shining helmet, its stout plates struck again and again on both sides, rang terrifyingly around his temples. His left shoulder ached from the prolonged effort of swinging his shield, though even so the volleys of enemy spears were unable to knock it aside. He was panting hard, and the sweat streamed from all his limbs. He had no time to catch his breath. Everywhere, disaster piled on disaster. Tell me now, you muses that live on Olympus, how the Greek ships were first set on fire. Hector went right up to Ajax, struck Ajax's ash pike with his great sword below the socket of the point, and sheared the head clean off. Ajax continued, wielding the now headless pike as before, the head finally hitting the ground with a clang a long way below him. Deep in his great heart, Ajax realized with a shudder that the gods were taking a hand in the affair, and that high thundering Zeus, intent on a Trojan victory, was thwarting all his battle plans. So he fell back, out of range. The Trojans threw blazing brands into the swift ship, and in a moment she was wrapped in inextinguishable flames. So the fire swelled around her stern, but Achilles slapped his thighs and said to Patroclus, "Up, Olympian-born Patroclus, charioteer, I can see a blaze of fire roaring up by the ships. They mustn't capture them and cut off our retreat. Quick, get your arm on while I assemble the men." So he spoke, and Patroclus armed himself in the gleaming bronze. First he placed fine leg guards on his shins, fitted with silver ankle clips. Then he put on Achilles' body armour, glittering and starry. Over his shoulder he slung his bronze, silver-riveted sword, then his great heavy shield. On his mighty head he placed his well-made helmet with a horsehair crest, the plume nodding frighteningly from the top. Then he took up 2 powerful spears that fitted his grip. The only weapon of matchless Achilles he did not take was Achilles' long, thick, heavy spear. No Greek could wield this but Achilles, who alone knew how to handle it. It was made from an ash tree on the top of Mount Pelion, and had been a gift from Chiron to Achilles' father Peleus, to bring death to warriors. Patroclus ordered Automedon to yoke the horses at once. He thought more highly of Automedon than of anyone except Achilles, breaker of the battle line, having found that in action he could be completely relied on to keep within calling distance. So Automedon yoked up for him divine Xanthus and Balius, who could race with the winds. Podage, the storm filly, had foaled these for their sire, the western gale, when she was grazing in the meadows beside Ocean stream. Automedon then put in as a trace horse the thoroughbred Pegasus, whom Achilles had brought away with him when he first captured Eetion's town. Pegasus was only a mortal horse, but he could keep up with the immortal pair. Achilles went the rounds of his huts and got all his myrmidons under arms. They were like flesh-eating wolves, hearts filled with boundless courage, who have brought down a great antlered stag in the mountains and tear at it, and their jowls run red with blood. Then they go off in a pack to lap the black water from the surface of a dark spring with their slender tongues, belching out the gore. Their hearts are fearless and their bellies growl. So the captains and commanders of the Myrmidons surged forward to fall in under the command of Patroclus, Achilles' brave attendant. And there stood warlike Achilles himself, encouraging the charioteers and the shield-bearing infantry. Each of the 50 swift ships that Achilles had brought to Troy had a crew of 50 men at the oars. He had appointed 5 commanders whom he trusted to lead them, but he was the most powerful and in overall command. Menestheus of the flashing body armour had led the first line of ships. He was the son of the divine river Spercheius, and beautiful Polydora was his mother, a daughter of Peleus. He was thus the child of a woman bedded by a god, the tireless stream Spercheius. But in name he was the son of Borus, because Borus, son of Perieris, had openly married his mother, giving a handsome dowry. Warlike Eudorus had commanded the second line. He was the illegitimate son of Polymele, daughter of Phylas, a beautiful dancer. The great god Hermes, slayer of Argus, had fallen for her when he saw her dancing in a chorus for Artemis of the golden distaff, goddess of the hunt. Gracious Hermes took her straight up to her bedroom unobserved, slept with her, and made her the mother of this splendid child, Eudorus, the great runner and fighter. When the baby had been brought into the light by Elathea, the goddess of labour, and saw the rays of the sun, a powerful chieftain, Achilles, son of Actor, married the mother after giving an untold bride price, and took her home with him. So Eudorus' old grandfather, Phylas, devotedly raised and looked after the baby, surrounding him with love as if he were his own son. Warlike Pisander had commanded the third line. Of all the Myrmidons, he was the best spearman after Patroclus. The old charioteer Phoenix had led the fourth, and noble Alcimedon the fifth. When Achilles had drawn them all up, men with their commanders in their proper ranks, he addressed them bluntly. Myrmidons, let none of you forget what you have been threatening to do to the Trojans here by the ships, while I indulged my anger. There is not one of you who did not abuse me. Obstinate son of Peleus, your mother suckled you with bile, not milk. You brute, holding your men back by the ships against their will. Let's take to our seafaring vessels and sail home again, since you are in the grip of such pernicious rage. That's what you said about me when you all got together. Well, now a bit of real work has come your way. The sort of fight you have been longing for. So, brave hearts, let the Trojans have it. So he spoke, and put fresh heart and courage into every man, and the ranks closed when they heard their lord. As a mason fits together blocks of stone when he builds the wall of a high house to make sure of keeping out the wind, so tightly packed were their helmets and their bossed shields. They stood so close together, shield to shield, helmet to helmet, man to man, that when they moved their heads, the glittering peaks of their plumed helmets met. And in front of them all, Patroclus and Automedon stood ready for battle, 2 men united in their resolution to fight in the forefront of the Myrmidons. But Achilles went off to his hut, where he lifted the lid of a beautiful inlaid chest which his mother, silver-footed Thetis, had packed with tunics, wind-proof cloaks, and thick rugs, and put on board ship for him to take on his journey. In this he kept a lovely cup, from which he alone drank the sparkling wine, and which he himself used for libations to no other god but Father Zeus. He took it from the chest, and after purifying it with sulphur, rinsed it in a lovely stream of water, washed his hands, and threw off some sparkling wine. Then, standing in the middle of the forecourt, he prayed, and, looking up into the sky, poured out the wine. Zeus, who delights in thunder, did not fail to notice him. Lord Zeus, god of Dodona, god of the Pelasgi, you that live far away and rule over wintry Dodona, surrounded by your interpreters, the Heloli, who leave their feet unwashed and sleep on the ground. You listened when I prayed to you before, and you honoured me by striking a mighty blow at the Greek army. Now grant me another wish. I myself am going to stay here by the ships, but I am sending my comrade with many of my Myrmidons into battle. Grant him victory, far-thundering Zeus, and fill his heart with daring, so that Hector finds out whether my attendant knows how to fight on his own, or whether his hands rage invincibly only when I throw myself into the grind of battle. And directly he has driven the tumult and fighting back from the ships, let him come back to me here at my own ship, safe and sound, with all my armour and close fighting companions. So Achilles spoke in prayer, and Zeus, wise in counsel, heard him. One half the Father granted, but not the other. The Father agreed that Patroclus should drive the tumult and fighting back from the ships, but not that he should come back safely from battle. When Achilles had made his libation and prayer to Father Zeus, he went back into his hut and put the cup away in the chest. Then he came out and stood in front of his hut. He still wished to witness the dreadful clash between Trojans and Greeks. Meanwhile, the armed contingents under great-hearted Patroclus advanced and fearlessly attacked the Trojans. They came swarming on like the roadside wasps that boys always like to tease, stirring them up in their nest by the road, the young fools. They turn them into a public menace, and if a traveller comes by and unintentionally disturbs them, these brave hearts fly out, one and all, and protect their little ones. With their courage and spirit, the Myrmidons swarmed out in a mass from the ships, and the tumult of battle filled the air. Patroclus then called out to his troops in a loud voice, "Myrmidons, companions of Achilles, be men, my comrades, call up that fighting spirit of yours and win glory for the son of Peleus. the best man in the Greek camp, with the best warriors under him, make wide-ruling Agamemnon, son of Atreus, realize the delusion he is under in giving no respect to the best of all the Greeks. So Patroclus spoke, and put fresh heart and courage into every man. They fell on the Trojans in a mass, and their intimidating roar echoed around the ships. When the Trojans saw strong Patroclus and his attendant Automedon beside him, in all the brilliance of their bronze armour, panic threatened, and the ranks began to waver, since they thought swift-footed Achilles must have abandoned his anger and reconciled himself with Agamemnon. Every man looked anxiously around to find some escape from sudden death. Patroclus was the first to throw a glittering spear. He hurled it straight into the mass of men, where the fighting was at its most confused, around the stern of Protesilaus' ship, and struck Pyraechmes, who had brought his Paeonians in their plumed helmets from Amydon and the broad flowing river Axius. He hit him in the right shoulder. With a groan, Pyraechmes fell on his back in the dust, and his Paeonian troops ran for it. By killing their leader and finest fighter, Patroclus had sown panic among them all. Patroclus, having swept them from the ships, extinguished the fire that was blazing there, leaving the vessel half burnt. Meanwhile, the Trojans fell back with a tremendous din. The Greeks poured forward between the ships, and all hell broke loose. Like lightning gatherer Zeus shifting a dense cloud from the high summit of a great mountain, when every lookout place and headland and mountain ravine stands out, and infinite upper air floods down from the skies, so the Greeks saved their ships from going up in flames, and for a while could breathe more freely. But they had not done with the fighting. The Trojans had been forced back from the black ships, but not as yet in a headlong rout. They still confronted them. Having broken the Trojan ranks, the Greeks started picking off their men one by one. Brave Patroclus was the first to throw his sharp spear at Eurylochus and hit him in the thigh just as he turned. The bronze point drove through and broke the bone. The man fell headlong to the ground. Meanwhile, warlike Menelaus struck Thoas in his chest, which he had left exposed above his shield, and brought him down. Amphiclus charged at Meges, but Meges kept his eye on him and got in first with a spear thrust on the top of the leg where the man's muscle is very thick. The spear point tore through the tendons, and darkness enveloped Amphiclus's eyes. Then one of Nestor's sons, Antilochus, stabbed Antiminus with his sharp spear and drove the bronze head through his side. Antiminus crashed down in front of him. But Maris, infuriated by his brother's death, charged at Antilochus, spear in hand, and planted himself in front of the body. However, before he could do any damage, another son of Nestor, godlike Thrasymedes, made a swift lunge at his shoulder and did not miss. The point of his spear, striking the base of the arm, tore it away from the muscles and completely dislocated the arm bone. Maris thudded to the ground, and darkness enveloped his eyes. Thus these two men were killed by two brothers and went down to the underworld. Brave spearmen of Sarpedon's contingent, they were the sons of Amisodarus, who had reared the Chimera, the raging monster that brought so many men to grief. Ajax, son of Oileus, dashed into the melee where Cleobulus had tripped up and took him alive. But he killed him soon enough with a blow to the neck from his hilted sword, warming the whole blade with blood. Inexorable destiny and purple death closed his eyes. Next, Peneleus and Lycon charged at each other. Each had made a bad throw with his spear and missed the other. So now they ran at one another with their swords. Lycon struck the cone of the other's plumed helmet, and his sword broke off at the hilt. But Peneleus slashed Lycon in the neck, behind the ear, and his sword blade sliced right through. Nothing held but a piece of skin, and from that Lycon's head dangled down as he sank to the ground. Meriones, too fast for Achilles, caught him up and stabbed him in the right shoulder as he was about to mount his chariot. Achilles crashed out of the chariot, and a mist descended on his eyes. Meanwhile, Idomeneus struck Erymas on the mouth with his relentless bronze. The metal point of the spear penetrated under his brain and smashed the white jawbones. His teeth were knocked out, both his eyes filled with blood, and gasping for breath, he blew blood through his mouth and nostrils. Death's black cloud enveloped him. So each of these Greek chieftains killed his man, just as predatory wolves harry lambs or kids and snatch them away from their mothers when they have become separated on the mountains through the shepherd's carelessness, and the wolves seize their chance to pick off the timid creatures. So the Greeks harried the Trojans. The Trojans could think only of tumultuous retreat, and all the fight went out of them. It was now the one desire of great Ajax, son of Telamon, to hit bronze-clad Hector with his spear. But Hector was no inexperienced fighter. He protected his broad shoulders with his bull's hide shield, and his ear was alert to the whistle of arrows and thud of spears. He was well aware that the enemy's reinforcements had won them the day, but even so, he held his position and tried to save his loyal men. As Zeus unleashes a tempest after clear weather, driving storm clouds into the skies from Olympus, so the Trojans started yelling and panicking, and they fled across the Greeks' defensive ditch, in no semblance of order. Hector's speedy horses carried him off, arms and all, and he left to their fate the men who had become unintentionally ensnared by the ditch. For many a pair of swift war horses snapped off their shafts at the yoke as they tried to climb the ditch, leaving their master's chariot behind. Patroclus chased them with slaughter in his heart, urging on the Greeks relentlessly while yelling, panicking Trojans, now separated from each other, filled every track. Swells of dust went rolling up to the clouds as their strong horses made at full speed for the town, leaving the Greek ships and their huts behind them. Wherever Patroclus saw the greatest numbers of chariots in wild retreat, there he followed up, yelling threats. Men tumbled headlong from their chariots beneath his axles, and their chariots flipped over. But Patroclus's immortal swift horses, the splendid gift given by the gods to Achilles' father Peleus, pressed on without a check and cleared the ditch at a single bound. It was Hector he was after, Hector he yearned to kill. But Hector's swift horses carried him to safety. As in autumn the whole countryside grows dark and heavy with rain under a stormy sky when Zeus sends torrential downpours, he is angry and rages at men who deliver crooked rulings in public assembly and drive justice out, regardless of the eye of the gods. All the streams run in spate, torrents scar the terraced hillsides, and rivers rush headlong down from the mountains with a great roar into the turbid sea, washing away the fields, Such was the din that went up from the Trojan chariots as they fled. Patroclus had by now cut off the nearest Trojan contingents and was herding them back towards the ships. He defeated all their efforts to get back to Ilium, and there between the ships, the river, and the high wall, he kept charging in and killing men, exacting the penalty for so many Greek dead. First, he threw his shining spear at Pronous and hit him on the chest, which he had left exposed above his shield. This brought him down, and he thudded to the ground. Next he attacked Thestor, who was sitting hunched up in his polished chariot. This man had lost his senses, and the reins had slipped from his hands. Patroclus came up beside him and stabbed him on the right side of the jaw, driving the spear between his teeth. Then, using the spear as a lever, he hoisted him over the chariot rail, as a fisherman sitting on a jutting rock pulls a lively fish out of the sea with his line and shining hook. So with his bright spear Patroclus hauled his gaping catch out of the chariot and dropped him on his face to die where he fell. Jesus Christ! Next, as Aurelius rushed at him, he hit him with a rock full on the head. Inside the heavy helmet the man's skull was split in two. He fell face downward on the ground, and heart-crushing death engulfed him. Then Patroclus dealt with Erymas, Amphoterus, and Epaltes, Tlepolemus, Achilles, and Pyrrhus, Iphias, Eupus, and Polymelus, bringing them down in swift succession to the bountiful earth. When Sarpedon saw how his beltless Lycians were falling to Patroclus, son of Minucius, he turned on his godlike warriors. "Shame on you, Lycians! Where are you off to? Come on now! I'm going to take on that man over there. I intend to find out who it is that's carrying all before him and has done the Trojans so much harm already, bringing down so many of our best men." He spoke, and fully armed, leapt from his chariot to the ground. And on the other side, Patroclus, when he saw him, did the same. As two vultures with their crooked claws and curved beaks fight on a rocky height and scream as they fight, so the two men, uttering defiant cries, made for each other. Zeus, son of sickle-wielding Cronus, saw what was happening and took pity on them. Then he spoke to Hera, his sister and wife. "Ew, this is an unhappy business. My son Sarpedon, dearest of men, is destined to be killed by Patroclus, son of Minucius. I wonder now. I am in two minds. Shall I snatch him up and set him down alive on Lycia's rich soil, far from the war with all its tears? Or shall I now let him fall to Patroclus's hands?" Ox-eyed Hera replied, "Dread son of Cronus, what are you suggesting now? Are you proposing to reprieve from the pains of death a mortal man whose destiny has long been settled? Do what you like then, but not all the rest of us gods will approve. But I will tell you something else, and you bear it in mind. If you send Sarpedon home alive, consider whether some other god might not want to do the same for a son of his in the heat of battle. Many of those fighting it out around Troy are the sons of gods who would resent your action bitterly. If Sarpedon is dear to you and your heart grieves for him, let him fall in the thick of the action against Patroclus, and when the breath of life has left him, send death and sweet sleep to take him up and bring him to the broad realm of Lycia, where his relatives and retainers will give him burial with a grave mound and a monument, the honour that is due to the dead." So she spoke, and the father of men and gods complied. But he did send down a shower of bloody raindrops to the earth, in tribute to his dear son, whom Patroclus was about to kill in fertile Troy, far from the land of his fathers. When the two had come within range of each other, Patroclus threw. He hit famous Thrasymedes, Lord Sarpedon's fine attendant, in the lower belly and brought him down. Sarpedon, throwing second with his shining spear, missed Patroclus, but struck his horse, Pedasus, on the right shoulder. The horse keeled over, gasping for breath, fell whinnying in the dust, and its life departed. The other two horses sprang apart. The yoke creaked under the strain, and their reins became entangled, since their trace horse lay in the dust. But the great spearman Automedon soon found the remedy. He drew the long sword from his sturdy thigh, jumped down, and deftly cut the trace horse clear. The pair straightened themselves up and were pulled in by the reins, and the two men resumed their soul-destroying duel. Sarpedon then missed with a glittering spear. The point passed harmlessly over Patroclus's left shoulder and failed to make its mark. But Patroclus threw his spear, and the weapon did not leave his hand for nothing. It struck Sarpedon where the lungs enclosed his dense heart, and he crashed down as an oak crashes down, or a poplar or a towering pine, which woodsmen cut down in the mountains with their newly sharpened axes to make timbers for a ship. So Sarpedon lay stretched in front of his chariot and horses, gurgling and clutching at the blood-stained dust. As a lion gets in among a herd and kills a proud, tawny bull among the shambling cows, and the bull dying under the lion's jaws bellows, so Sarpedon, leader of the shield-bearing Lycians, struggled defiantly to speak as he yielded up his life to Patroclus, and called on his dear companion. Glaucus, old friend, champion among men, now's the time to show your bravery and ability as a fighter. Now make deadly war your one desire, if you have it in you. Run to our Lycian leaders everywhere and urge them on to rally around Sarpedon. Then fight over me with your spear. Every day of your life you will bear the blame and disgrace if you let the Greeks strip me of my arms, here where I fell beside their ships. Hold firm then with all your strength and throw every man we have into the fight. As Sarpedon spoke, the end that is death enveloped his eyes and cut short his breath. Patroclus put his foot on his chest and withdrew the spear from his flesh. The innards came with it. He had drawn out the spear point and the man's life together. Close by, the Myrmidons held on to Sarpedon's snorting horses, who were ready to bolt now they had left their master's chariot. Glaucus was distraught when he heard Sarpedon's call. His inability to help him wrung his heart, and he gripped his damaged arm with his good hand, hurting as he was from the arrow wound that Teucer, defending his companions, had given him when he charged at the high Greek wall. Then he prayed to archer god Apollo. Listen to me, Lord, you who are somewhere in the rich land of Lycia or in Troy. Wherever you are, you can hear a man in distress, as I am now. I received this cruel wound. The pain driving through my arm is excruciating. The blood refuses to dry up. My shoulder is paralyzed. I can't hold my spear steady or go out and fight the enemy. And now our best man has been killed, Sarpedon, son of Zeus. But Zeus will not lift a finger even for his own son. But you, Lord Apollo, heal this cruel wound, soothe away the pain, and give me strength to call on the Lycians and urge them into battle, while I fight over the body of the dead man myself." So he spoke in prayer, and Phoebus Apollo heard him, and at once relieved the pain, dried up the dark blood from the ugly wound, and filled him with fresh energy. Glaucus realized what had happened and rejoiced that the great god had responded so quickly to his prayer. He went at once to all the Lycian leaders everywhere and urged them to rally round Sarpedon. Then he went striding off to find some Trojans also, Polydamas and godlike Agenor, Aeneas and bronze-armoured Hector. He went up to them and spoke winged words. "Hector, you have completely forgotten your allies, who are giving their lives for you far from their dear ones and the land of their fathers. You show no eagerness to help them. Sarpedon, leader of the shield-bearing Lycian, lies dead. He was the upright and strong defender of the Lycian realm, and now the bronze-clad war god Ares has cut him down under Patroclus' spear. Make a stand by him, my friends. Think of the shame of it, if the Myrmidons, angry for the many Greeks who fell to our spears beside their swift ships, should take Sarpedon's arms and desecrate his body." So he spoke, and the Trojans could not contain their overwhelming, inconsolable grief, since Sarpedon, though a foreigner, had been a mainstay of their town and the finest warrior among the many he had brought with him. Eager to avenge him, they made straight for the Greeks with Hector in the forefront, infuriated by Sarpedon's death. Meanwhile, manly Patroclus spurred on the Greeks. First he spoke to the Ajaxes, both already intent on combat. "You two Ajaxes, now make it your mission to fight off the enemy like the men you have always been, or even better. Sarpedon lies dead. He was the first man to storm the Greek wall. Let's see if we can capture and mangle his body, strip the armour from his back, and at the same time slaughter some of the friends who will protect him." So he spoke, and they were already spoiling for the fight. And now, when the two forces, Trojans and Lycians, on one side, Greeks and the Myrmidons on the other, had strengthened their ranks, they joined battle over the fallen Sarpedon with terrifying cries. The armour on men's bodies rang loud, and Zeus eclipsed the field of battle in dreadful night, to make the struggle over his dear son all the more murderous. At first the Trojans were able to repel the dark-eyed Greeks, who lost one of their best men in the Myrmidon force, godlike Achilles. He had at one time been ruler of prosperous Budion, but having killed a brave relative, he took sanctuary with Peleus and his wife silver-footed Thetis, who sent him to Ilium, land of the horses, in the company of Achilles, breaker of men, to fight the Trojans. Achilles had just laid his hands on Sarpedon's body when the glorious Hector hurled a rock which struck him on the head. Inside the heavy helmet his skull was split in two, and he fell face down across the body, and heart-crushing death engulfed him. Patroclus, distressed at his comrade's loss, raced through the front line like a swift falcon when it scatters the jackdaws and starlings. That was how you, charioteer Patroclus, flew at the Lycians and Trojans, in fury at the death of your friend. Patroclus threw a boulder at the neck of Sthenelus and smashed the tendons. The Trojan front line and glorious Hector himself fell back before his onslaught. As far as a man throws a long light spear when he is doing his best in the games or in battle against an enemy thirsting for his blood, so far did the Trojans withdraw and the Greeks press forward. Glaucus, leader of the shield-bearing Lycians, was the first to halt. He turned and killed great-hearted Patroclus, who lived in Hellas, and stood out as one of the most prosperous of the Myrmidons. Patroclus was about to catch him up when Glaucus suddenly turned on his pursuer and stabbed him with his spear in the middle of the chest. He thudded to the ground. The loss of this brave man was a heavy blow to the Greeks, but the Trojans were delighted and massed in numbers around Glaucus. The Greeks, however, had lost none of their fight and still bore energetically down on the enemy. It was now the turn of Meriones to kill a Trojan man-at-arms, daring Laogonus, who was priest of Idaean Zeus and was honoured by the people like a god. Meriones struck him under the jaw and ear. Life swiftly left his limbs, and hateful darkness engulfed him. Aeneas then hurled a spear at Meriones, hoping to catch him as he strode forward under cover of his shield. But Meriones was on the lookout and avoided the bronze spear. He ducked under it, and the long shaft stuck in the ground behind him, its butt end quivering till the imperious war god Ares took away its force. Aeneas was enraged and said, "Meriones, you may be a fine dancer, but my spear would have stopped you for good and all if only I'd hit you." The famous spearman Meriones said, "Aeneas, powerful though you are, it would be difficult for you to extinguish the fire of everyone you met in action. You are made of mortal stuff like the rest of us, and if I caught you in the belly with a sharp spear, you would, for all your strength and confidence, immediately yield the glory to me, and your life to the god Hades, famed for his horses." So he spoke, and Patroclus, brave son of Menoetius, reproved him. "Meriones, you're too fine a warrior to spend your time making speeches. Believe me, old friend, the Trojans are not going to be pushed back from Sarpedon's body by a few insults. The earth will cover many a man first. Battles are won by deeds. The council chamber is the place for words. This is no time to talk, but to fight." With these words he led the way, and godlike Meriones went with him. Like the crashing that rises from woodcutters at work in a mountain glade, and the noise is heard a long way off, so from the broad earth there rose a thud of bronze, leather, and well-made shields as men stabbed at each other with swords and curved spears. Even the sharpest eye would never have recognized a god like Sarpedon, enveloped as he was from head to foot in weapons, blood, and dust. Men swarmed round his body as flies in a sheepfold buzz around the brimming pails in springtime when the vessels overflow with milk. So they swarmed round the body, and as they did so, Zeus never shifted his shining eyes from the thick of battle, but kept them always fixed on the men, thinking to himself about the killing of Patroclus. He was in two minds whether to let him fall to glorious Hector's spear in the thick of action over godlike Sarpedon, and let Hector strip the armour from his shoulders, or whether to allow Patroclus to bring still more of his enemies to grief. In the end, Zeus decided the best thing for Patroclus, Achilles' fine attendant, to drive the Trojans and bronze-armoured Hector back towards the town, taking many lives. So Zeus made a coward of Hector. He leapt into his chariot and wheeled it round for flight, shouting to the other Trojans to take their heels. He knew Zeus had tipped the sacred scales against him, At that, not even the mighty Lycians stood their ground. They fled one and all. They had seen their own lord hit in the heart and lying where the dead were heaped. For in the fierce conflict Zeus had staged, many a man had been killed over Sarpedon's body. So the Greeks stripped the gleaming bronze armour from Sarpedon's shoulders. Brave Patroclus, son of Menoetius, handed it to his men and told them to take it to the hollow ships. Then Zeus, who marshals the clouds, addressed Apollo. "Quick, dear Phoebus, go and take Sarpedon out of range, and when you have wiped the dark blood off, carry him to some distant spot and wash him in running water, anoint him with ambrosia, and wrap him in an immortal robe. Then send him to be borne away by Sleep and his twin brother Death, those swift attendants who will quickly set him down in broad Lycia's fertile realm, where his relatives and retainers will give him burial with a grave mound and monument, the honour that is due to the dead." So he spoke, and Apollo did not turn a deaf ear, but descended from the mountains of Ida into the mayhem of the fight. At once he took godlike Sarpedon out of range, and carrying him to some distant spot, washed him in running water, anointed him with ambrosia, and wrapped him in an immortal robe. Then he sent him to be borne away by Sleep and his twin brother Death, those swift attendants who quickly set him down in broad Lycia's fertile realm. Patroclus, with a shout to his charioteer Automedon, went in pursuit of the Trojans and Lycians. He was completely deluded, the blind fool. Had he kept to his orders from Achilles, he would have saved himself from the evil destiny which is dark death. But the will of Zeus always prevails over men. Zeus can easily make a brave man run away and lose a battle, but at another time that very same god will urge him to fight on. Now he put heart into Patroclus. "Who was the first man, who was the last, to fall to you, Patroclus, as the gods summoned you to your death? Adrastus first, and Autonomous, and Achilles, Pyramus, Epister, Melanippus, and then Elasus and Mulinus and Pilates. All these Patroclus killed, though the rest of them had the sense to run. He was raging so unstoppably with his spear that the Trojan city with its high gates would now have fallen to the Greeks under Patroclus, if Phoebus Apollo had not taken his stand on the well-built tower with death in mind for Patroclus and salvation for the Trojans. 3 times Patroclus scaled an angle of the high wall, and 3 times Apollo hurled him off, thrusting back his glittering shield with his immortal hands. But when he came on like something superhuman for the 4th time, the god gave a terrible shout and spoke winged words. "Back, Olympian-born Patroclus! The town of the proud Trojans is not destined to be captured by your spear, nor even by Achilles, who is a far better man than you." So he spoke, and Patroclus retreated a good way back to avoid the wrath of archer god Apollo. Hector had pulled up his horses at the Scaean gate. There he debated whether to drive into the melee once more and fight, or to order all his men to withdraw into the town. He was still in 2 minds when Phoebus Apollo appeared beside him, resembling vigorous and powerful Asius, horse-taming Hector's uncle. Asius was a brother of Hecabe and son of Dymas, who lived in Phrygia on the banks of the river Sangarius. In this disguise Apollo, son of Zeus, said, Hector, why have you stopped fighting and neglected your duty? I wish I were much your better as you are mine. Then you would soon regret your withdrawal from battle. Off with you now, and set your powerful horses at Patroclus. You could catch him yet, and Apollo grant you the victory." With these words the god went back into the battling crowd, and glorious Hector told warlike Cebriones to lash his horses into the fight. Apollo, merging with the throng, created terrible mayhem among the Greeks and gave the upper hand to Hector and the Trojans. But Hector ignored the rest of the Greeks, and killing none of them, drove his powerful horses straight at Patroclus. Patroclus, on his side, leapt from his chariot to the ground with his spear in his left hand. With the other he picked up a jagged, sparkling stone. His hand just covered it, and, refusing to retreat before Hector, threw it with all his force. He did not throw in vain. The sharp stone caught Hector's charioteer Cebronius, famous Priam's illegitimate son, on the forehead. With the horse's reins still in his hands, it shattered both his eyebrows, crushing the bone, and his eyes fell out and rolled in the dust at his feet. Ah, that's gross. He fell back out of the well-built chariot like a diver, and life left his bones. Mocking him, charioteer Patroclus, you said, "Well, well, how light on his toes, judging by that acrobatic somersault. Now, if the delightful dive he has taken from the chariot onto the plain is anything to go by, he'd satisfy the hunger of lots of people by doing the same at sea. Even if in the roughest weather he could leap off a boat and grope about for mollusks. I never knew the Trojans had such acrobats." With these words he advanced to claim the body of the warrior Cebronius, springing like a lion that has been wounded in the chest while assaulting the folds, and his courage is the death of him. With such determination, Patroclus, did you hurl yourself at Cebronius. Hector, on the other side, leapt from his chariot to the ground, and the two fought for Cebronius like a pair of lions on the mountain heights, each as hungry and fearless as the other, disputing the dead body of a stag. So with the body of Cebronius between them, these two champions of the battle cry, Patroclus and glorious Hector, longed to hack into each other's flesh with their cruel spears. Hector got hold of Cebronius' head and never once let go. Patroclus at his end clung to a foot, and the rest of the Trojans and Greeks joined in the fierce confrontation, like the east and south winds tussling with one another in a mountain glen, setting the dense wood heaving, beech and ash and smooth-barked cornel. Their long boughs lash each other with terrifying sound, and the branches snap noisily, so the Trojans and Greeks leapt at one another and destroyed. There was no thought of fatal flight on either side. The ground where Cebronius fell was peppered with sharp spears and feathered arrows that had leapt from the bowstring. Huge rocks struck shields and sent staggering those that fought about him. And there great Cebronius lay, in a swirl of dust, great even in his fall, his charioteering days forgotten. While the sun was high in the sky, volley and counter-volley found their mark, and men kept falling. But when the sun began to drop, towards the time when the ploughman unyokes his ox, the Greeks got the upper hand in defiance of destiny. They dragged the warrior Cebronius out from among the weapons and the yelling Trojans and stripped the armour from his back. But Patroclus, with murder in his heart, leapt on the enemy. 3 times he charged with an intimidating yell, like impetuous Ares, and 3 times he killed 9 men. But when he leapt in like something superhuman for the 4th time, then, Patroclus, the end was in sight. In the heat of the battle, Phoebus encountered you, Phoebus most terrible. Patroclus had not seen him coming through the mayhem. The god had wrapped himself in a thick mist for this meeting. He stood behind Patroclus now, and striking his back and broad shoulders with the flat of his hand, he made Patroclus' eyes spin and knocked the helmet off his head. With its heavy visor, it rolled clattering away under the horse's hooves, and its plume was defiled with blood and dust. It had not been allowed to defile that crested helmet in the dust before, when it protected the head and handsome face of godlike Achilles. But now Zeus granted it to Hector to wear, since he was very close to death. The long-shadowed spear, huge, thick, and heavy with its head of bronze, was shattered in Patroclus' hand. The fringed shield with its strap fell from his shoulder to the ground, and Lord Apollo, son of Zeus, undid the body armour on his chest. A fatal blindness overtook Patroclus. His shining limbs were paralysed, and as he stood there in a daze, a Dardanian called Euphorbus, son of Panthus, came up behind him at close range, threw a sharp spear, and hit him in the middle of the back between the shoulders. This Euphorbus was the best spearman, runner, and horseman of his years, and in this very battle, the first he had fought as a charioteer learning the art of war, he had already brought 20 men from their chariots to the ground. He was the first, then, to let fly at you, charioteer Patroclus. But he did not kill you. After pulling out the ash spear from his flesh, he ran back and mingled with the crowd. He did not stay to fight Patroclus, defenceless though he was. And now, overcome by the god's blow and Euphorbus' spear, Patroclus began to retreat into his own contingent of warriors to avoid death. When Hector saw great-hearted Patroclus wounded and in retreat, he made his way toward him through the ranks, and coming up stabbed him with his spear in the lower belly, driving the bronze clean through. Patroclus thudded to the ground, throwing the whole Greek army into consternation. As a lion's will to fight overpowers an indomitable wild boar, when the fearless pair battle it out in the mountains over a little stream, both wish to drink there, but the lion's strength prevails and his panting enemy is overcome. So, after killing many men himself, Menoetius' strong son fell to a close-range thrust from Hector, who now spoke to him in triumph with winged words. Patroclus, you probably thought you'd sack our town, make Trojan women slaves, and ship them off to the land of your fathers. You innocent! In their defence, Hector's swift horses were racing into battle. I, Hector, finest spearman of the war-loving Trojans, who stand between them and the day of slavery. As for you, vultures are going to eat you on this very spot, miserable wretch. Even great Achilles did not save you. I can imagine all the instructions he gave you on your way out, while he stayed behind, Charioteer Patroclus, don't come back to the hollow ships till you have ripped through the tunic on man-slaying Hector's chest and soaked it with his blood. That, I imagine, is what he must have said, and like an idiot you took him at his word. Fading fast, you replied, Charioteer Patroclus. Hector, boast loud and long while you can. Zeus and Apollo handed you that victory. They conquered me. It was an easy task. They took the armour from my back. If 20 men like you had confronted me, they would all have fallen to my spear. No, it was deadly destiny and later son Apollo that did for me. Then a man, Euphorbus, you are the third of them all to kill me. But I will tell you something else, and you bear it in mind. You too, I swear it, have not long to live. Already you stand in the shadow of death and inexorable destiny, slaughtered at the hands of Achilles, the matchless son of Peleus. As he spoke, the end that is death enveloped him. Life left his limbs and took wing for the house of Hades, bewailing its lot and the youth and the manhood it left behind. But glorious Hector spoke to him again, though he was gone. Patroclus, why prophesy an early end for me? Who knows? Achilles, son of lovely-haired Thetis, may still get there first, dispatched with a blow from my spear. With these words, Hector put his foot on Patroclus to withdraw his bronze spear from the wound, and trod the body off it to lie face upwards on the ground. Then, without a pause, he went after Automedon, Achilles' godlike attendant, with his spear. He was eager to hit him, but Automedon was carried out of harm's way by his speedy immortal horses, the splendid gift that Peleus had received from the gods.